8:43 Tuesday morning, Yellow Jacket Stadium here in Austin, Texas, and today I'm going to be running you through a hybrid training workout that I am doing in preparation for my HYROX mixed doubles race on November 18th. I'm doing that with my wife Erin, and then 2 weeks later I'm doing a 50K 31-mile ultra in Lake Norman, North Carolina. Now, why the hell would I do two different style of races within the same month? The real reason is because a 50K and ultras has been on my hit list for a while to complete, while HYROX is what I believe to be my sport. So while I'm doing hybrid training like you're gonna be seeing here today, I am ranking HYROX a little bit higher than this ultra. I truly just wanna finish the ultra and feel happy and healthy. At HYROX, I'm shooting to compete and potentially hit the podium. For today's workout, we're gonna be doing something that I consider to be a true hybrid athlete workout. I think a lot of workouts out there lack the word athlete, where they're just doing long runs or they're just doing compound movements in the gym. So out here on the track today, we're going to be combining movements that are going to push my aerobic threshold as well as my non-aerobic threshold and help me become a better athlete, both for HYROX and for that 50K ultra marathon that I'm training for. Okay, starting off the workout, we're going to do a 1 mile warm-up jog, and then we're gonna do some active stretching for like 5 to 10 minutes just to get my body primed. Following that, we're gonna get into a 2-mile run where I'm gonna start getting my heart rate a little bit up so that when we get into the aerobic stuff, I'm not coming from zero. All right, stretching done, about to get into the 2 miles. But I want to talk about how I think about programming my own training. I think something that I do a little bit differently than other people out there is programming around my weaknesses. I think as human beings, we like to say that we think about the weaknesses that we have and we work towards improving them. But I know myself and I know my past where something I like, let's just use chest press, for example, the bench press. I love the bench press. So if I love it, I tend to do it a lot more than my back workouts. And then what ends up happening is I create these imbalances or areas where I become weak, and this will show up on game day. So when it comes to HYROX and the 50K, I've thought through where are areas of my training that I really love and I'm going to have a tendency to cater a lot of my effort towards, and how do I peel that back and instead put energy into the things that I'm not so good at. And for HYROX specifically, my biggest struggle is power in my running. And then for the 50K, it's not gonna be as much of a mental game for me. I know I can run the 31 miles, but I know that I need to put enough volume on my legs so that on race day I can perform and I don't feel like I'm gonna get injured, and then the next day I can continue to be that loving dad, husband, person that I want to show up as, rather than spending days on days recovering. So for this workout specifically, I've tailored it towards putting more volume on my legs to work on power, specifically for HYROX, as well as the endurance volume for the 50K so that my legs can take the beating on December 2nd. Mile 1 done, ran at about 8-minute pace. Mile 2, I'm gonna run at 6:30 to 7, which is my HYROX pace. When you're doing HYROX and the training for it, what you need to fully understand is that the running is where you're gonna pick up the most time. So you should be training at the speed that you need to run at so that you get used to it. So going into my workout here today, I'm learning that cadence in my mind of how fast I need to be running so that when I put the kettlebell down or I put the wall ball down, I'm going to pick up that speed without even really having to think about it. Just finished the 2-mile warm-up. Mile 1 was around an 8 to 8:30 mile pace. Mile 2 was around 6:30 to 7-minute mile pace. That is my HYROX average. Now we're gonna go right into the workout. I'm gonna pick up 50-pound kettlebells in each hand. I'm going to start on the starting line right there. I'm gonna go halfway on the straightaway with lunges, and then I'm going to farmer's carry the other half. I'm gonna follow that up by explosively running out of that lunge farmer's carry set all the way around the track. I'm gonna pick the kettlebells back up. I'm gonna do the same thing in the reverse direction, and I'm gonna do it in totality of 4 times, which is going to equal a full mile run. So the biggest issue I have right now is no chalk. That first lap felt good. I feel like my endurance is there. My fingers are just really slipping right now. So probably should have brought chalk with me, but we might just have to go a little bit slower than I wanted to. In HYROX and in the 50K, there's gonna be points where I'm gonna wanna give up. And the thing that I always remind myself is it's okay to slow down. It's okay to stop and take a couple breaths, but it's not okay to put the white flag in unless it's goddamn necessary. So in this case, I'm feeling good. It's just hard, so I'm gonna keep pushing. Maybe could have went with 30, 35 pound kettlebells to speed this up, but that's the beauty of training. You live and you learn. Sometimes you don't learn until you get out here in the arena and you fail. So I would consider this pretty much failing at this workout. I didn't plan on stopping this much. But that's good. Push your limits. It's the only way that you're gonna get to the next level. When you're doing your program, you should program it hard enough so that when you get into the workouts, sometimes you might have to be resilient and push through, and other times you might have to adapt and do things a little bit differently. HYROX, a 50K, no matter what race you're doing, on game day, you're gonna feel a little bit different. You might have gotten a little bit more sleep, a little bit less sleep, and you have to adapt on the fly. So today, my program, doing the lunges out halfway on the straightaway and then finishing with farmer's carry, with the sweat and no chalk, like, it's just not doable. I can't complete it with good form, so I'm going to adapt and switch it up. What I'm doing right now is a cadence instead, where I'm doing 10 steps out with the farmer's carry, dropping it, 10 Mississippi, picking them back up, 10 lunges out, dropping them, 10 Mississippi, farmer's carry for the full straightaway, and then the 1 lap run after. One more, baby. .632 pace on that last lap, dude. Let's go. That was a beast. 22 minutes. Another thing that you want to mimic in your training is the amount of time that you endure the pain in your sessions versus on race day. So for HYROX race day, the pain lasts about an hour for me. So the training sessions, I look to put between 45 minutes and an hour, and then sometimes hour 15, hour 30. For the endurance, for the 50K, it's 31 miles, probably gonna take me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on how I'm feeling that day, the terrain. I don't know what it looks like yet, but to mimic that, I need time on feet. So even if I'm not running, I need to go for a 2-hour walk, 2-hour run, and mimic the time on my feet and on my legs for that day in my training, so that on race day, I feel great. So last but not least, taking out the parachute. Next, we're going to be doing striders with the parachute into sets of 25 wall balls. So if you're not familiar with HYROX, you do 100 wall balls at the end of every HYROX. Depending on your weight class, it's either 14 pounds or 20 pounds, like this one is if you are men's. So today, we're going to be putting the parachute at the end of the track here. I'm gonna be striding out to the other end of the track, picking up the wall ball, 25 reps, 4 times. So 100 total reps of wall balls. All right, got the wall ball set up on a building over there. I'm gonna start with striders, which means it's about an 80% sprint. So I'm not doing all out. I already did probably about 40 to 45 minutes of a workout. I don't want to injure myself. So this is here to add some resistance to my running and then go into the wall balls with a higher heart rate, just like I would in the actual HYROX race. Okay, now that we completed that workout, one of the things that I make sure to do is breathe. If you ever read the book Breath, you'll know how powerful your breath can be to controlling your heart rate, both during your exercise and after. So once I'm done the exercise, I want to go into rest and relaxation. The most effective way to do that, focus on my breath. Meanwhile, stretch my body out. And if you'd like to know a little bit about how I do my nutrition post-workout, stick around for another minute. One of my favorite quotes is, "The separation is in the preparation." And when you're in a training block, it's easy to know that we should be prepping our body physically for that training block. But where I tend to spend the most amount of energy is figuring out, how do I prepare my body with the nutrients it needs so that when I get to the track, I get to the race, I get to the trail, it's going to perform at a maximum capacity. So after I do a trail run, a track workout, a gym workout, typically I'm gonna ask myself, when is my next meal gonna be? And on days like today, where it's like 10:25 and my meal's probably not gonna be till 12, I know that I need to supplement with something prior to that meal. So what I brought with me is Boost by MSW Nutrition. This is all the vitamins that you're gonna need in a day, all in one little packet. It also has a little bit of caffeine to give me a bit of a pick-me-up. Then I have unflavored Relight. This is all the electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium that I just lost in my workout. I'm gonna replenish with this little packet. I'm gonna put it in one of my favorite drinks out there, Powerlift, 10 grams of protein, no sugar, BCAAs to help me replenish. And then last but not least, these little fruit bars that I really like, Pure Organic. These aren't high calories, they're only like 25 calories a pop, but they are a mood booster, I found, for me. Half the battle of when you're doing these hard workouts is maintaining your mood and just feeling awesome as much as you possibly can. And I've realized that it's not just fueling my body with grass-fed beef and all the dense nutrients it needs, it's also giving me little things like this, which it's kind of like candy, but not, and helps boost my mood a little bit. Now that I'm going to supplement with this, I'm then gonna follow this workout with some sauna and some ice. I'm gonna recover and I'm gonna get back after it tomorrow and continue this training block leading into HYROX and my 50K. If you are training for HYROX and you'll be there in Dallas, November 18th, please reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. And if you're doing an ultra and you have some tips and tricks that maybe I can implement into my routine, please let me know. Thrive on, y'all.